Hey everybody, this is Deb with Truthification Chronicles, and I just have several little topics here that I want to give you an overview on. I'm not going to do a deep dive in this video because there's some information I still need to find, but I wanted to let you know some of the things that are going on. First of all, with Flynn, this came out, it says a day ago. I'm not sure exactly when it came out, but evidently the DOJ is not real happy with Flynn's lawyers. And it says down here that the Justice Department lawyers filed a fiery rebuttal in court Tuesday after former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn's legal team leveled a host of allegations against them amid an apparent bid to remove the prosecutorial team and get the case dismissed. And then it says there was this formal response that they put out. I've not been able to find the formal response. When I find that and I can go through it with you, I will. But until then, this is pretty much what I know. But of course, WaPo has to put its own spin on it, and this is what WaPo's saying, that Michael Flynn is using conspiracy theories in stealth bid to dismiss case. In other words, they say that Michael Flynn is claiming that there are these documents out there that will exonerate him, and yet nobody knows that they really exist. So it's merely a conspiracy theory that the Mueller prosecutors were keeping back these documents. Well, yeah, it's not a conspiracy theory at all. Well, in some ways, see, the problem is they've misused this term so much. It definitely is a conspiracy against Michael Flynn, but it's not really a theory because it's going to come out to be true. I'm pretty sure about that. So anyway, I wanted to point those out to you. I don't know, as soon as I find that document, I'll know more, but I really don't know what it was said. It sounded kind of negative. Even the Fox News one sounded negative. And then we have this. This is a memorandum that came out on October 2nd, which is when I'm recording this. And yeah, it's from Elijah Cummings, who is the head of the Oversight and Reform Committee in the House. And they have a notice of intent to issue, guess what? A subpoena. Yes, and this time it's for the White House. And Mick Mulvaney is the recipient of this, and who is supposed to, bring out all these documents and provide them all for him. And wait until you see the list of them. Anyway, I do not take this step lightly. They always make it sound so dramatic. They're like drama queens. Oh, only after overwhelming public pressure did the Trump administration finally release the incriminating record of the president's July 25th, 2019 call with the Ukrainian president. Did you think there was overwhelming public pressure on Trump to release it? I didn't think so at all. In fact, for most of us, we didn't even know about it. And then like a day later, he releases it. I don't think he was pressured into it at all. The terms that they use in here, just the language, it's so frustrating. They really choose their words just to make it sound more dramatic and make it sound worse, of course, for Trump. Anyway, so, they said on September 9th, we asked for all these things and we didn't get any response, and the White House did not produce any documents. I'm not going to read this whole thing because it's the same garbage that we're seeing all across the board. And if you watch the Pompeo video, it's the same stuff. They're just saying it again. New evidence of presidential abuse of power. Oh, no. Anyway, so this is the whole thing. And they cut and paste. I mean, this is the paragraph where he says, I would like you to do us a favor. And then they make it sound like, well, and then right away he talked about Biden. No, there was a whole lot in between those two parts. You totally missed what they were saying in between. Oh, yeah, but you know the situation. Anyway, this is what they have an authority for subpoena in urgent circumstances. They have to keep reminding people of their authority. I've found that when people have to keep reminding you what authority they have, they are very insecure in what authority they do have, and it's very possible that they don't have as much authority as they think they do. So anyway, they, try to use the different clauses and say, we have the right to demand this. And so they intend to issue a subpoena on Friday, October 4th. So look for that. I'm sure that'll be coming up pretty soon. And of course, it's an urgent matter. We need to have it, and you need to call us if you don't. Well, here's the stuff that they want. And again, it goes to, in accordance with the attached definitions and instructions, you, John Michael Mick Mulvaney, in your capacity. I mean, this is so dramatic. Are hereby required to produce for the time period from January 20th, 2017 to the present all documents and communications referring or relating to. Okay, now keep in mind, today is the 2nd, and they're going to issue the subpoena on the 4th. Let's watch and see what happens, because I wonder if the subpoena is going to have like, yes, and you need to have it all done by Monday. I don't know. They just are putting like ridiculous time limits on these things. And, Pompeo even said that when they were talking about bringing those people in for depositions. It's like, they don't even have time to get attorneys. What are you doing? So anyway, these are the things. And I am not going to go through all these because there's like 4 pages of them that they want. But essentially they want everything. They just want anything at all on Trump that they can find maybe some little smidgen of dirt that they could use, because they're desperate. I mean, they have nothing. And here they went out and they made this big deal about we're starting the, impeachment proceedings. I was like, yeah, okay, really you're not. And you need to take it to the floor of the House to vote if you're going to be doing this. But, oh no, we don't have to do it that way because we're Democrats. Anyway, so yes, conversations between any of these people. Look at the people they want. I mean, anybody at all. Oh, and they're making such a big deal of Pompeo being on that call. It's like, well, yeah, he's like the Secretary of State. Don't you think he'd be there for the call? I mean, it kind of makes sense. Why are they making a big deal over it? I have no idea. Well, I guess it's because they assume or project that Trump is doing something wrong in that call, and there's absolutely nothing in there in the call that's wrong. And they think, well, Pompeo should have stopped him. Stopped him from what? I don't know. Anyway, besides, I know that he and Pompeo get along really, really well. But I kind of think that if Pompeo wanted to stop Trump, he wouldn't be able to. I just think Trump's that kind of person. And I also think I've heard Mike Pompeo many times say that he serves at the pleasure of the president. And he says, I give him advice, but he makes his decisions. So I'm pretty sure that Mike Pompeo would not try to keep Trump from doing something that Trump wanted to do. So, I mean, he might say, hey, I don't think this is a better idea, but, Trump's going to do what Trump's going to do. He's the one we elected. And I think Mike Pompeo is very well aware of that. So anyway, they have all of these conversations, of course, and then they have current or former employees or officials of the Department of Justice, including but not limited to. I love the way they do that. Including, but not limited to, so then they can pull in anybody else that they so desire later on. So, yeah, Bill Barr. They want Bill Barr. And it goes on. Pompeo, Rick Perry. They just pretty much want everybody. They want, evidently, McGuire, anything from McGuire. Because what they want are conversations, any documents these people have had about anything touching Ukraine, because they, the Democrats, know what went on in Ukraine, and they know it can't get out, because if it does, it spells the end of the Democrats. So they're really paranoid about it. And so they're trying hard. All these different people, any and all recordings, transcripts, notes, memorandum, conversations, summaries, readouts, other documents, memorializing communications between President Trump and the leader of any other foreign country that refer or relate to the subject matters of the July 25th telephone conversation. Boy, they're just desperate. This is what it reeks of. The actual or potential suspension, withholding, delaying, freezing, or releasing of foreign assistance of any kind, including but not limited to security assistance to Ukraine. Any of the following meetings or potential meetings. Okay, and then they have phone call meetings, and they just go on. I mean, they want everything. And they're not going to be satisfied until they get everything. But they're not going to get it because right now what's happening is the legislative branch of our government is trying to usurp the authority of the executive branch. And Trump's not going to let it happen. So, yeah, I see it goes on and on and on. And, of course, they want, about Rudy Giuliani, all meetings, communications. They don't just want current, but they want former White House officials. I mean, this is unreasonable to me. This is not oversight. This is not even regarding an impeachment proceeding. And if they're going to do the impeachment proceeding, they really have to vote for it in the House first. And if they're not going to do that, if they're not going to vote to have this investigation, then no, it's not valid. It's really not. And I don't see why they would expect the Trump White House to, give in to all of this. But this is just incredible when you read about it. It's just so many pages there. So anyway, I wanted to show you that one. And then I wanted to show you this because, this is something that happened. It may not get reported on too much, but there's a guy named Todd Starnes. And I don't know if you have listened to Todd Starnes before, but he does podcast usually. I hear it on Saturdays, but it's typically, I think he records it on Wednesdays, but our radio station doesn't play it until the weekend. He leans more towards the religious aspects of things. He's a Christian, and so he does tend to touch on more of those topics. Well, he had Pastor Robert Jeffress, and he suggested the Democrats worship the pagan god Molech, who allowed for child sacrifice. Well, I personally think that he's not too far off with that. And, so that came from The Hill. Well, if you go to the article on The Hill, of course, it's talking about, it's just crazy talk. It's insane. It's insanity. But he made these remarks in an interview on Todd Starnes' Fox News radio program. It says Monday here, so I don't know if he had it more than one day. The only one I ever heard was the Wednesday broadcast that they broadcast on Saturday here. So, anyway, I've kept up with some of his articles and things, but that was Monday of this week, and I'm recording this Tuesday night. Well, Tuesday afternoon, actually, I was listening to the talk radio program that runs around here, and it's a local guy who talks in the afternoon. Well, he informed me that Todd Starnes is no longer working for Fox News. And when you're looking at this, I mean, those of you who follow the 17th letter of the alphabet, you understand this whole Moloch thing, because there was a pagan god named Moloch. It's mentioned in the Old Testament. And one of the ways they worshiped Moloch was by, quote, passing their children through the fire. And essentially it was sacrificing their children to this god. And it was something that obviously the true God, the God of the Bible, thought was abominable. And so he had commands in the Bible not to do that. Well, it's not as far-fetched as you think, folks, because this is from WikiLeaks, and this is the Clinton email. See, it's Huma Abedin there, and they were having this discussion, and this guy, he's, let's see, what's his name? Amsalem, Louis Amsalem, and he had this message here, but then he ended it with fingers crossed, the old rabbit's foot out of the box in the attic, I will be sacrificing a chicken in the backyard to Moloch. Okay, why would you say that? Unless there's something to it. I mean, the common ordinary person, first of all, doesn't know who Moloch is. Secondly, why would you even jest about that? But yet, that's what they do. And I'm not going to go more into that, but those of you who follow the 17th letter of the alphabet, you know everything I'm talking about here. The link to this email will be down below, and you can share it with people and say, hey, What do you think they meant here? This is part of the Clinton emails, you know? Very interesting. Now, it wasn't Hillary Clinton herself who said it, but was one of her aides. And it's just bizarre. Very bizarre. Anyway, those of you who have been following my last few videos, you know I am trying to get people to sign this recusal of Congress members who are DNC candidates on all matters concerning President Trump, because it's really a conflict of interest. I mean, here they are, they're going to be running against him as his political opponent, so it's in their best interest to make him look as bad as they can in front of the American people. So they should not in any way be sitting in judgment or investigating him in any way. At least not officially. Well, I have 800 signatures, folks, but I got a long way to go. By October 29th, we've got to get 99,199 signatures. So keep sharing it. I'm sharing it. I try to share it as much as I can and get it out there. Don't forget that when you fill it out, if you haven't done it yet, that it will send a verification to your email, and then you're going to have to click on that. But it doesn't, like, if you unclick this, you're not going to get a bunch of emails and stuff. So it's not something you have to sign up for. You can just do it. And while you're there, there's a lot of other really good petitions that you need to look at. In fact, there's one that's about removing Adam Schiff. It already has over 100,000, I'm pretty sure. And there was another one on Maxine Waters and Nancy Pelosi. And I don't know. The only problem I really have with this site is you can't search it. I don't know how to search it because I haven't seen any search things. So maybe I'm missing it, but I haven't really found the search. But the reason I'm telling you about this, not only to get you to sign if you haven't done it yet, but also because, look, this is what somebody sent me. Whoa, where'd it go? There we go. MACMiller, thank you so much for, mentioning me in this so I could see this. By the way, if you are on Twitter, follow MACMiller and say thanks. That's one of our fellow patriots there. And if you don't know anything about Twitter, when you get to 5,000 with Twitter, unless you have like more than 5,000 people following you, you get capped off at 5,000. And then you have to like delete some people before you can add more. And it's really crazy. I mean, ridiculous. So give MACMiller some follows there. That would be really nice. But here's the article. Thomas Massie, should senators running for president recuse themselves from impeachment trial? And this is on Breitbart, by the way. And Representative Thomas Massie from Kentucky. So if any of you are from Kentucky and you contacted him like through the contact on his website, or you called his office or whatever, you guys rock because you made him think about this. Okay? I don't know if he came up with it on his own. Maybe he did. Or maybe he was listening to the person I heard on the Joe Pagliano show. But really, this is important. Representative Thomas Massie questioned Wednesday whether Democrat senators running for president should recuse themselves from a possible impeachment trial of President Donald Trump, suggesting it serves as a possible conflict of interest. So he's a member of the House Oversight and Reform Committee. And so his tweet here, this is what it looks like. And so you can go, you can follow him, you can give him a thumbs up for this. I highly recommend it. And I even went in there and I made a comment and posted the link again. That's what I've been doing. See this blue check here? If you find blue check people, they have a lot of followers. And if you can find an appropriate comment, don't just do it like on any of their comments. But if they have a comment that has anything to do with what's going on, that would be a perfect comment to put a link to the petition in there. So hint, hint. I've been, putting it in there. I've been sharing it on Facebook. So we've just got to do that, folks. Then I found this thread. I thought this was really interesting. It's from The Last Refuge. And this is about the DOJ protecting Rod Rosenstein and hiding documents that prove that Rod Rosenstein was part of all of this setup for Trump. So I'm going to leave it because it has like several different posts. And some of them you really have to get in there and you have to look at all the documents that they're showing you. But basically what he's saying is that, this whole thing, there is a comment that Andy Biggs made when he was questioning Mueller. he asked him about a phone call that happened. Now, Comey was fired on May 9th of 2017. And that was, what time was it? 5 p.m. Eastern on May 9th. And then during the testimony, when Robert Mueller was being questioned by Andy Biggs noted evidence of a phone call between Mueller and Rod Rosenstein on Wednesday, May 10th at 7:45 a.m. So, of course, Mueller was like, well, I don't remember that. Oh, I know nothing. I see nothing. Yeah, he was doing his Schultz impression there. And so you can go down and you can see it talks about the judicial FOIA requests and the things that were there. It's pretty interesting. And yeah, I'm kind of thinking the DOJ has been trying to protect Rosenstein, but not just Rosenstein. They're trying to protect them all, And the last thing I've got to share with you is something, again, that I just kind of found out about, but I haven't had a chance to go through and really look at. This is the 2018 crime statistics from the FBI, and this is the FBI website here. And so notice what it says. Violent crime, property crime decreased between 2017 and 2018. Yeah, the liberals are not going to be happy about this because gun crime and everything fell in 2018 from the previous year. So, violent crime declined 3.3% and property crime decreased 6.3%. So, you can go through here and you can look at it, and there have been less gun crimes going on. So, the idea that we need more legislation and everything, yeah, not really it. So it's not going to work out for them. So the statistics show otherwise. And there are some interesting statistics too. If you go down here, you can find it says full report. And when you go over here, you can see all the different parts of it that you have to look through. And that's why I haven't had a chance to look through all the different parts. So I really would like to see them. But they have expanded offense data and, trends and weapons. And so I really want to go through this. They also have on human trafficking, and I haven't really had a chance to do anything with that yet to find out about it. So I want to go through and look at the different stats they have, and they have it by state. They have it by the arrests by age, and arrests by race, arrests by ethnicity. So I really wanted to go through and look at the data tables there, but I just have not had enough time today to do that. But I'll leave the link to this down below, and you can go through it on your own and see what kind of stuff there is there. I'm sure there's some pretty interesting statistics, and especially it's interesting enough that the crime decreased. So evidently something's being done right? Anyway, that's what I've got for you on this one. Lots of little stuff, but I'll have all the links down below. You can check on them on your own, and make sure that you've signed the petition, and share the petition with as many people as you can. Share it often, because it takes people 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times to see something before they take action a lot of times. I mean, some people will read it and say, yeah, definitely we need those people to recuse themselves. But then others will have to see it a few times before they decide that they're actually going to go ahead and, do that. So I've been trying to put it out there on Facebook and on Twitter, but I need a lot more people too. And especially on Facebook, if you're part of a bigger group that has to do with, politics, try to put it in there, get it out there so people can see it, they can share it. And, we're going to get the signatures that we need, right? So that's what I've got for you on this one. I want to thank you for stopping by, and I'll see y'all later.